Hey, what's going on? Buenos dias. I'm Noah from TechnoBuffalo.com. And, you don't need me to tell you today was iPad2 announcement day. Today was also Netflix comes to Nintendo 3DS day, although that didn't get quite as much coverage. But today was iPad2 announcement day. Apple made the announcement in San Francisco. And, John's already done a bunch of coverage here in the video channel. And then also over on TechnoBuffalo.com, we've got a whole bunch of coverage for you, written words and images and all kinds of stuff. A little roundup article with just a short little take from each of the editors on what we think of what went down today in San Francisco. But John sent me a message saying, "Hey, man, why don't you do a video? Get on camera, tell us what you think of the tablet world now that iPad2 has been announced." So here you go, and for everybody who's like, "Dude, this is the John for Lakers channel. What's this guy Noah doing on it?" Fair warning. It's going to be me for the rest of the video, so you know what to do. You know what to do if you want to, and I certainly will not hold it against you if you do. I get it. Trust me, I get it. I'm happy to be here. Anyway, original iPad, been out for about a year. iPad2 announced today. Basically, what you get is thinner, lighter, faster, and cameras on the front and the back. Motorola Xoom, the first Android 3.0 tablet, the first honeycomb tablet to actually start shipping. And what you get here is a screen that is bigger and higher resolution than iPad. You get dual cameras that are higher res than iPad 2. You get Android 3.0, obviously a very different platform. You get a dual-core chip that, I don't know if it's faster or not, but it's a dual-core chip, Tegra 2 inside here. And you get 4G upgradability, which is something you will not get on iPad 2. I'm going to throw this one out here, even though I know I might be playing to the wrong audience with this one, but I truly believe it's worth mentioning. Barnes & Noble Nook Color. What you get here is a smaller device, a 7-inch display. It's Android-based. It's easily hackable. You can very easily put a custom ROM on the micro SD card, put it in the slot, and you can boot up to Froyo or Honeycomb. I've done it, and I did it with Honeycomb. I'm sure it's not the most recent build, but it actually worked pretty well just to mess around on. But without that, what you get is you get a very, very cool e-reader that's great for books, great for magazines, and then has a pretty decent web browser built in. And not the best touchscreen in the world, but not too bad. And you can get this right now for $200. Wi-Fi only, no contract, no cellular data. Why do I mention this? Because the tablet world basically right now, it's exploding like smartphones did last year. A lot of it has to do with Android, but also we're going to see the HP TouchPad with WebOS, the first WebOS tablet coming sometime, hopefully not too long, HP. And then the BlackBerry Playbook, rumors kicking around that that'll be out as soon as mid-April. So, hopefully that will be the case. And then, like we said, there's the T-Mobile G-Slate. The Optimus Pad, as it's known in Europe, which is an LG honeycomb tablet that's smaller than the Xoom, has a 3D camera. Speaking of tab, the Samsung Galaxy Tab 10.1, which is similar size, shape, and specs as the Xoom, also Android 3.0. You've got ASUS with a couple of different variations on Android 3.0 tablets with keyboards. You've got ViewSonic. You've got a ton of companies coming out with Android tablets. You've got the HTC Flyer, which I think is very interesting. It's 2.4, it's not 3, but a lot of customization. I was looking for the right word, I didn't want to say a ton again. A lot of customization went into that one with HTC's Sense, now with a tablet version of Sense, with an active stylus, and a lot of interesting, interesting user experience stuff, not just the stock Android. You've got rumors about Sony working on an Android tablet based on 3.0 that would have a lot of custom Sony content on it related to entertainment, possibly PlayStation certified, to go along with the Xperia Play smartphone that's Android based but PlayStation certified for gaming. Rumors about that, a tie into Sony's Curiosity platform, rumors about that coming down the line. So to get back to iPad 2 for a second, and this is all sort of in relation to what's going on with all the tablets, I think what today is, I think, not that many people were surprised, although people were underwhelmed, perhaps disappointed, that it wasn't a bigger change. People were looking for iOS 5. People were looking for a higher res display. People were looking for 4G connectivity, that kind of thing. Not really surprising that Apple didn't do it. People think, people have already been calling me crazy for this one, and I may have a bet or two with some of my colleagues at Techno Buffalo about this happening because they all think I'm nuts. I think we're going to see an iPad 3, it might not be called that, but another iPad released before the end of 2011. Two reasons why. One, I talked about this earlier on CNBC, so if you're still watching, but you saw that clip, you know, you can tune out now if you want, because I'm going to say the same thing. But two reasons. Basically, one, I think Apple wants to shift. This isn't my theory, but I think it's a good theory, so I'm going to run with it. I think Apple wants to shift the focus of their fall event, which has always been an iPod event. I think they want to shift that to iPads, with iPod still thrown in there. iPod is not, you know, it's not the flagship thing that it was a few years ago. iPad and iPhone have become Apple's, you know, big selling, high-profile products. Because they have iPod functionality and, you know, and then some. iPod Touch is still a big product, but I don't know. I get the feeling that for the Christmas season, the big shopping season, all that kind of stuff, you know, Apple would love to have the iPad as their kind of anchor product, their brand new product going into the holidays. Second reason is 4G. With all the competition going on, again, you know, the Xoom, even though apparently it's going to be some crazy process where you have to mail it in and you get it back 6 days later and it's upgraded, the Xoom will be 4G upgradable in the next couple of months, and then they'll start selling Zooms with the 4G built in. Right now it's 3G and Wi-Fi, but Verizon's LTE network, and at least out here in the San Francisco Bay Area, Verizon's LTE network just kicks butt. It's incredibly fast. It's fast when I'm, you know, moving around. I was actually down in Southern California in San Diego last week, and I was using it in a car going from the airport to the meetings I was going to, and I was getting ridiculous. Like, I got, I think, 21 down on it while in the back of a moving car. So LG, the network's great. We'll see how it holds up once more people are using it, but so far it's really good. And you know, I don't think Apple wants to get too far behind when you've got, you know, tablets like this one on 4G. You've got, you know, the G-Slate coming out on T-Mobile, their version of 4G. You're going to see a lot of, you know, 4G tablets coming out in the US this year. So I don't think Apple wants to wait a full year to do that. Apple likes to wait until technologies are a little more mature. You know, obviously the iPhone, they didn't have a 3G iPhone at first when other smartphones were 3G. And who knows what the backroom dealings are with the carriers. You know, and AT&T probably doesn't want to get left behind with a non-4G iPad if Verizon has one, but right now their network probably can't handle it, and HSPA Plus really, you know, it's really not pushed out that far just yet. So that's what I think. I think we're going to see another iPad in the fall. I kind of think it's going to be, you know, a little more of a, maybe not a radical physical redesign, because they made the iPad 2 really, really thin and light, but I think we'll see a higher res display. I definitely think we'll see 4G. I could be crazy. I've been wrong. Most of the time when I make these predictions, I'm wrong, so it's fine. But I think we'll see that. In the meantime, iPad 2, I think, you know, video chat FaceTime is a killer feature that a lot of people, you know, thought was missing from the first one. And certainly video chat via G-Talk on the Xoom. It's not perfect, but, you know, it's great to have it. And I really think that video calling and the tablet form factor were made for each other. Big enough, easier to see, you know, the video chat going on than on a smartphone. So, you know, for some people, especially older people, you know, grandparents who want to communicate with their grandkids across the country, you know, business people, stuff like that, the larger form factor, the tablet is just perfect for video chatting. So, you know, that was the big thing that Apple needed to do with iPad 2, is get the cameras on there for FaceTime. Otherwise, the dual-core processor, from what I've read hands-on, you know, people saying it's incredibly fast, which is great. I'm really psyched personally for iMovie on iPad, just because I think it'll be fun to play around with. And then GarageBand as well, they introduced. But, you know, understandable why people are underwhelmed. I really think it speaks more to what Apple's trying to do with their long-term future for computing. I think iOS 5 and Mac OS X Lion are going to be huge. They're not the kinds of things that get a lot of play, you know, like a new piece of hardware and specs and that kind of stuff. But I think that's when you're going to really see this kind of merging of, you know, Apple's sort of old way of desktop computing and the new way of touch-based computing really coming together. And I think we'll start to see that at WWDC in a couple of months. You know, the developer preview beta of Lion's already out, but I think we'll see at WWDC a lot more on Lion and possibly iOS 5. iPhone 5 and iOS 5, I would imagine, will come together, and then I really think we'll see a new iPad in the fall. But in the meantime, we've got the original iPad now marked down to $399, so that's a great deal. If you want an iPad, don't have one, don't care about the cameras. Otherwise, starting at $499, you get the new iPad with the cameras, the dual-core processor, the thinner design, and you can get those crazy magnetic smart covers if you're into it. Or, you know, if you're on Android, if you're an Android fan, the Xoom, I've really been enjoying it. I think the 1610 form factor, I think I said 9 in a video before, but 1610. The form factor is great. The widescreen for watching video, I think it's a better form factor for a tablet than the iPad. Kind of hard to fit this in camera here. Just because you get the native widescreen mode for watching video, and then for typing, I find it easier to hold this way and type with 2 thumbs than trying to touch type on this, and it's certainly easier to hold the narrower zoom than it is the wider iPad when you're talking about portrait mode. But then the best deal on the market, if you're not a hardcore power user, it might be this $200 Nook Color. It's just, I mean, I'm going to do a full review on it, but you know, it's for e-reading. It's great. At lunch today I went and I started reading this book, Born to Run, which I've been psyched to read, and you've got the, you know, in reading it, this is my first time really reading a book on an e-reader, and I very quickly forgot I was on an e-reader and I was just reading. And then, you know, it's thin and light. That's why everybody loves Kindles and Nooks, because they're so thin and light and easy to carry, you know, a whole bunch of books around. But then being a color device, you know, you also get, you can have magazines on here, which, you know, is just great. And you've got, you know, you can go full color. It's easy to scan through and flip through. You can do your magazine subscriptions and everything. But you can see I'm holding it one-handed right now, which I think is a really nice size for people who don't necessarily want to do a ton of video or gaming stuff and just want something a little bit smaller. I don't know, I'm a big fan of the Nook Color very quickly. It's also got a pretty good web browser built in. I kind of wish it had an email client, but the App Store is supposedly coming because it is Android based. And then, like I said, if you want to tinker around with it, you know, for $200 you've got a device that you can very easily load custom ROMs onto, Froyo, Honeycomb, who knows what else. So I don't know, I'm a fan of the Nook Color, although it can't do as much as the other tablets. And then beyond that, you know, like I said at the top, the Playbook coming soon. It looks great, but I'm worried about the whole tethering thing. But I'm also not a hardcore BlackBerry user, and I know that there are reasons for that. The idea of Android apps running on the Playbook is very intriguing. That could be a little bit of a monkey wrench to kind of change the game up a little bit. I still think the WebOS touchpad looks fantastic. I think WebOS, kind of like, I have to say that I was having, you know, some debates with some Android fans on Twitter today, and in all honesty, to be totally fair, Honeycomb on Xoom is a lot better so far than I thought it would be, and Xoom in general, I'm really enjoying it in a lot of ways. And the changes to the app market, the Android market, have been great. I just downloaded a couple of Tegra 2 optimized games. I'm psyched to check out HD gaming on this thing, so that should be very cool. Obviously, Tegra, the next version of Tegra Quad Core, already demoed, already announced. Tablets will be shipping in August. And I saw a demo of that at Mobile World Congress, and it was amazing. I mean, a lot of horsepower, a lot of graphic horsepower in that new quad-core Tegra chipset. So that should be very cool. Bodes very well for Android 3.0 and the future of the Honeycomb platform. But touchpad on WebOS, I think, makes WebOS look great. But I don't know if there's enough developer support there. And then you know, Windows, we're hearing things about some previews coming maybe of Windows OS for tablets and the whole Microsoft Nokia relationship. Very interesting, but that's down the line. And then of course Netflix on 3DS. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's all over. I don't think so. Alright, anyway, there you go. That's enough out of me. But fun to get in front of the camera and just kind of let fly with my thoughts on the day's events in the world of tablets for a little while. And again, you know, we'll try to do our best to make it clear. Because I'm not trying to intrude on all the longtime John for Lakers fans. Believe me, I get it. That's why I'm psyched to be part of Techno Buffalo, because I've been a fan of John's for a while, and it's great to work with him. That said, though, you know, we're opening things up. New voices in the mix. The nice thing about the internet is you can choose what you want to watch and don't want to watch, right? So there you go. Till next time, my name's Noah. Thanks for watching. Much more on iPad 2, all the tablets, everything else over on technobuffalo.com. We'll see you later.